When I think of the Castan Centre, I think of leadership on business and human rights. The team have pioneered a number of projects looking at how to address and understand the relationship between international trade and commerce and human rights impacts. They've done work on the World Bank, the international criminal justice system, the potential for a treaty on business and human rights, and how business itself can better internalise and understand human rights. And I think that's a really important legacy.
The Castan Centre has been instrumental in advocating for the rights of LGBTIQ people in Australia and around the world. And this was particularly evident in our campaign, successful campaign for marriage equality in Australia, which was achieved several years ago, and in expunging the convictions for gay men who had been convicted of the crime, in quotation marks, of homosexuality.
When I think of the Castan Centre, I think of a group of people dedicated to using the law to make a difference in society. The key piece of work I did at the Castan Centre relates to refugee law and policy. Myself and other colleagues wrote a series of parliamentary submissions to inquiries about the rights of asylum seekers on Nauru and Papua New Guinea. We also did media contributions to try and inform the public about refugee law.
When I think of the Castan Centre, I think about the committed people it has brought together to advance the realisation of human rights. The Centre has enabled me to collaborate with wonderful colleagues and use my research to generate a real impact in the world. One of the key pieces of work I've done while at the Castan Centre has been the empirical research I've undertaken with Dr. Untitled into reproductive rights. That research has influenced the rollout of laws which prevent the targeted harassment of women accessing reproductive health care. And I'm so grateful to the Castan Centre for giving me the opportunity to contribute in this way.
When I think of the Castan Centre, I think of the legacy of the wonderful Ron Castan QC and how proud he would be of all of the achievements of the world-renowned Human Rights Centre that has the honour of bearing his name.
When I think of the Castan Centre, I think of an international reputation. I came to Australia 4 years ago in part to be part of this Castan Centre, which I had heard of both while I was studying in Canada more than 20 years ago, but also more so when I was engaged as an academic and scholar of human rights in Europe and also on the African continent. I would say that since I've been in the very short period of time that I've been with the Castan Centre, one of the key pieces of work that I've done for the Centre is to establish a modern slavery law clinic, which assists civil society organization in ASEAN states by preparing legal reports related to pressing issues of human trafficking or modern slavery. So I owe a lot to Castan, and I just want to wish it a happy 20th anniversary.
I'm Marilyn Pittard, and I congratulate the Castan Centre on its 20th anniversary and wish it well in all its endeavours in human rights, both internationally and domestically, in teaching and research, and in law reform, which I'm involved in now in making a submission on the Privacy Act. Best wishes and congratulations.
When I think of the Castan Centre, I think of the inspirational work of the academics, many of whom volunteer their time towards the Centre's achievements to progressing human rights law for the greater good.
When I think of the Castan Centre, I think of academics, students and members of the community working together to promote human rights.
When I think of the Castan Centre, I think of a passionate, driven, dedicated and very knowledgeable group of legal experts fighting hard for human rights and justice everywhere.
When I think of the Castan Centre, I think of the importance of empowering the next generation of human rights lawyers to eradicate all forms of discrimination, inequality and human rights abuses in Australia and around the world.
When I think of the Castan Centre, I think of an organisation made up of fearless advocates doing such important work that is necessary now more than ever before.
When I think of the Castan Centre, I think of invaluable opportunities for students to begin their journey in human rights law.
When I think of the Castan Centre, I think of the amazing depth and breadth of knowledge of the people who work there. It's one of the few organisations in Australia that's able to combine the academic knowledge of human rights with the will to participate properly in the policy debate and have real impact on policy development and the way people's rights are protected in Australia. And it's also a great family, and I was privileged to work there.
The Castan Centre for Human Rights Law is an extraordinary organisation. Its achievements include the phenomenal human rights scholars it has attracted, the incredible job it has done in educating the public about human rights, and the high quality and high impact research that its members have produced. The Castan Centre produces the kind of research that achieves change. Happy 20th anniversary, Castan Centre, and congratulations to all the people who have contributed to making you what you are today. It is something to be very, very proud of.